Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Oh, that was brilliant. That was so good. I'm so sorry. I couldn't maintain myself. We had a nice little intro wipe there. It wasn't a star wipe, but almost as good. Welcome to the weekly Old School Developer Q&A. I hope you're all doing very well. We have an extra person on the couch this week, just because why not? We've invited a couple more people. So I'm going to start with your left, my right. We have Mod Rock.
Hello.
We have Mod Monroe.
Hello.
I'm your host, Mod Wolf. I hope you're doing okay. And then to the right is Mod Ash.
Hi.
Mod Gambit.
Hello.
And Mod Ieza. Hello, guys.
Hey.
Can you look a little happy, please, Ben? Like, smile just a little bit. There we go. Perfect. We have a couple of things to
That'll be a meme in 5 minutes.
show you guys this week. We are going to announce the release date for the new Troll Quest. We have a couple of images, a couple of teasers for that. We also have. You guys were asking for the tax numbers for the Jewel Arena, so we have that as our first question, actually. And it's how much money has actually been removed from the Jewel Arena via tax so far. And the answer?
To buy this lovely golden gnome we have.
Yes. We got it from Mod Lottie. Thank you very much, at JagX Lottie. Check her out. We have removed 127 billion coins from the economy with tax alone. So, there you go. There's your
start.
number. In terms of the stuff for the Troll Quest, I'm going to start right off with that, Ash.
Hello.
When's it being released? We've got a date, guys.
6th of September, Thursday. Hopefully 11:30 in the morning, British time.
There you go. 6th, so not far now. 2 weeks?
Hype.
Yeah, we really better finish some of that stuff.
No, don't say that. We're really close, actually. We are really close, right?
You can play it from the beginning all the way up to the start of the final boss battle. It's got a boss battle, by the way.
Oh, spoiler.
Well, we did tell them they mustn't be afraid of nasty trolls, and I suppose we can reveal that some of those trolls will fight them.
Yes.
So, yeah, we played through most of it this morning and showed you could, and showed it to staff who hadn't seen it before, and, well, they didn't tell us to kill it with fire, so I guess we're good. So, yeah, deal with the boss. I mean, you can kill him now. We just need it to be hard, and not too hard, but hard. He's level 25 at the moment. That's not quite what we're aiming for.
We're going a little higher than that.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. The quest Derek boss is harder than that. And then, post the dialogue to end the quest, explain the rewards to you, because it's got some, and let you, and the post-quest stuff. And somebody's going to learn how to make farming patches.
Yep.
Yeah.
Farming's...
He's looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's not fun to test nor create, from what I've heard.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Those hardwood patches were really... I had a question the other week that I didn't end up getting to, but somebody asked, like, can you list a bug that QA finds, as if to hint, like, oh, QA never finds anything. And I was like, well, those hardwood farming patches, I think, had, like, 7 blockers. You just could not make hardwood farming at some point. And it's because farming's a very difficult system to plug into.
2 things. Firstly, Maz, apologies for the incorrect link thing there. I told you pipe 3. I think I should have said pipe 1.
Oh.
Everyone knows you need a good pipe 1. And secondly, farming's easier than it used to be before the massive rewrite I did last year, but still not trivial.
Yeah, I'm happy that rewrites happened, shall we say.
Yeah, I think the staff working on the fossil island would have had an easier time of it if that had been in first.
Cool. I do want to remind the chat, please do at oldschoolrs if you have any questions. Modmaz will be gathering those. Want to reiterate the release date because the broadcast has just went out. So, would you just re-announce that date that it's coming out? Troll Quest, Making Friends with My Arm?
Oh, yes. Thursday, 6th September, hopefully 11:30 in the morning British time.
There we go. Awesome.
At least we always usually aim for 11:30 these days. We'd like to try and keep it regular because it helps people updating app stores with mobile versions of the game, because that's the thing now, and we're very happy about that. But that's why we have been a lot more regular about what time of day the update comes out. Of course, if unexpected things happen, like difficulty with some of the app stores, which could be a thing, then that gives us more reasons we might get held up unexpectedly. But it's been pretty good so far.
Cool. One thing worth discussing as well is, of course, the poll is, has it been closed yet, or it's about to be?
The poll for the quest closed on Monday.
It closed Monday, and
with the quest on 92.2%, I think.
Yep. A lot of things did pass. The farming patch, the first quest, the teleport, and all the grey braziers passed. The blue, green, and red did not, and we're totally fine with that. However, we did. Have you tweeted out yet?
Yeah, I tweeted out earlier about adding the teleport to player-owned house. with completion of the quest, so teleport you to a location in Troll Stronghold.
We got a nice suggestion from a player that mentioned, we've had this question on the stream before actually, there's 14 portals, if you have 5 portal rooms you have 1 that's empty that you can't fill in, and Trollheim seems like a very fitting place for a location that can be rewarded at the end of this quest.
Troll Stronghold.
Troll Stronghold, yes. Seems fitting for the quest. Why not? We'll throw that in on a poll, presumably in a couple of days.
I think the plan is to just go for it. It's based on what people say here and to the tweet that you've already put out.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I may start that later today.
Oh, fantastic. So look forward to that.
In the meantime, I'd also like us to address the Nexus room that's been discussed.
Yes.
Can we do that?
Absolutely. Please do.
So, one of the player and house update ideas that's come up from time to time is making it so that when you want lots of destinations, you don't have to build room after room after room after room, especially as, 3 portals to a room, you end up with, corridors between them because they don't have any exits to them. It's kind of awkward having a lot of portals. You end up with a much bulked out house. And what was suggested is we give you a sort of Nexus room, a place where all teleport places come together as one in a beautiful merged Nexus. And in there you could just unlock the destinations one by one and teleport to all of those portal destinations from the one room. This means that we could, rather than needing lots of rooms, you just need the one and you'd unlock all the teleport destinations inside it. I anticipate a slight lore rune sync when that one comes out. And we think you'd find that quite useful. Unfortunately, it's a slightly bigger job than just adding this one more portal right now. And we're not able to try and bundle that in with the quest, especially since it's got nothing to do with it. So, but that's something I want to see on a quality of life poll in future.
Cool. Mod Maz, just out of interest, can we have a straw poll just to see the chat's reaction? Because firstly, they were really excited about that Nexus, so thank you for explaining that. But also, I'd be interested in seeing their opinion on adding the Troll Stronghold as a post-quest reward, just get a little bit of engagement in the chat, see what they think as well. I'll help you out. What's your Twitter again, by the way?
It's Jagex Monroe.
Jagex Monroe, M-U-N-R-O.
Yes.
Okay, excellent, just so people are aware. Should the completion of making friends with my arm grant the player the ability to add a player-on house teleport to the Troll Stronghold?
If it would help for you to look at twitter.com/JagexMonroe, you can see how he described it in his infographic.
At twitter.com/JagexMonroe.
Yeah.
That's M-U-N.
M-U-N-R-O. We're really selling you out today.
Follow him, he's just off 1,000 followers, go on.
now will be more off 1,000 followers.
There we go. Even closer. Oh,
I followed him today. I suddenly realised I wasn't already.
I feel like an American infomercial.
Can we
Great.
follow me while I'm here too? I'm nearly at 10k in 1 year.
Yeah, absolutely. So at JagexWolf, JAGEXWOL. No, I'm kidding. I use it.
I'm trying to
That one
hit
you
10K
actually
in
want
a
to
year.
spell out. They can probably spell wolf, but that...
I'm not doing a giveaway or anything for it. I just want to hit that milestone, so I think it'll be cool to hit. So yeah, go and follow me at JagexIuser. Thanks.
A-Y-I-Z-A, if you are all wondering. Does anybody else want one while we're here?
Yeah, this guy.
New guy? Gambit?
Yeah,
There we
well,
go.
I'm trying to push for 1K, so yeah, just getting started. Hit me up at Jagex Gambit.
G-A-M-B-I-T, Jagex Gambit. Okay.
And I'm trying to get to 66k. So
Sorry, guys, we're not usually this much sellouts, I promise. So the past few weeks I've been going on a particular pattern of showing all the stuff at the beginning before going to the questions, so the people interested in that kind of stuff can, if they want to, not listen to the questions. So you understand that not everybody wants to listen to that bit. That's fine. So I'm also going to ask Mod Shed, could you please, that's at Jagex Shed, can you please... Can you please do me a favour and cue up the first picture, which is a little teaser of the quest that Mod Ash has sent.
Would you like a nice little transition again?
Yeah, go on then. Have you got a different wipe this time? Because the circle wipe was pretty cool.
yes, wipe us.
Ooh, look at that.
Well, that looks promising.
Fantastic. Do you want to explain what's happening in that scene, Ash?
Well, my arm wishes to earn the favour of the chieftain of Vice, and to do that, he has set out to present the corpse of their age-old foe, the wise, well, it was the wise young man in those days, who drove the trolls out from the Keldrigum tunnels. That's a bit of lore that's mentioned in passing in a book here and there.
I think we're on
I think RS3's even got a special book about it.
Can we just take off sub mode as well so people can react?
Look how
If
many
that's okay,
subs-
Mod
look how
Maz?
many
We
subs
can
we're
answer.
getting.
We can show the straw poll after Ash has finished describing the scene.
And to make friends with these trolls, my mum has brought them this. And don't you think everyone's living room needs one of those?
You know, I look at him, and we were talking about it earlier, and he looks like he's doing a Backstreet Boys pose, like when they do that dance with the leg, and they're like. So I was thinking that.
You're right, he does look a bit sick.
He looks quite ill. I mean, people are quite upset, presumably seeing the wise old man dead. But I mean, let's be honest. If you think that my arm is going to be capable of killing the wise old man, maybe you should tune in the quest on the 6th. And you might find out how we get to that position.
Yes, and also the strange brown lumpy thing on the left, in case you're wondering, it's his coffin.
This has a great cutscene attached to it as well.
It's got a cutscene, all right. I hope there'll be a few freaked out faces during this cutscene.
I was surprised at this because I thought that Ash actually modelled, like posed this, and I was like, "Ooh, his neck looks a little bit painful." Turns out it already exists.
Kill me like one of your French girls.
Right. Mod Shed, can we have a look at the other picture teasers? And we can have Mod Monroe speak about those, because you have some reward picture teasers.
Yeah, sure.
So there we go.
First off, we have the God Wars dungeon. So,
Ooh.
very fancy.
We've invested in the streaming software, in case you can't tell.
So on the left, we have the normal God Wars dungeon with the brazier unlit, and the snow effect is, you can kind of see in the picture, and it's on your screen. And then once you've lit the brazier, the snow effect disappears and your stats are no longer drained, and that once you've lit it, that's it. When you go to God Wars, your stats will never be drained again.
That is
I
lit.
want to tell them about the snow effect, because it's rather easy to miss in the picture.
Oh, he did.
Oh.
I think it removes the snow.
It does remove the snow effect.
Apart from the effect, it removes the animated overlay thing.
Yeah, that's yes.
Yeah.
So it removes the overlay as well. Yeah,
You can just see that there's a few dark
snowflakes.
grey diamonds stuck on the left of the
Yeah,
picture.
that's meant to be snow.
It looks better when it's animating.
it does. Yeah.
Can we have a look at the next picture, Mod Shed?
And then here we have the Lumbridge swamp caves. And so again, the picture on the left is obviously it's a lot darker, and you're going to get damaged if you're down there without any light sources. And then once you're done, once you've lit that,
lit.
yeah, it becomes lit, and you no longer need light source when you go down those caves. And that's the same in the mole pit and cave horrors from
Yes.
Muscle Harms.
You also, I believe, you don't get the warnings anymore in the scenarios where you would usually need a light source, except from the cave horror one, because it also warns you about that witchwood icon, which
Yeah,
I
that's
thought was
correct.
worth keeping in, because they do hurt quite a bit, actually, if you don't have that icon.
Yes, they do.
Next picture, please, Mod Shed.
That's it.
Is that everything?
That's everything. Yeah.
Sorry, never mind. Back to the couch. Sorry. The answer to the straw poll. Oh, sorry. Actually, we have a question. Go ahead first.
Oh, I was going to say, players have correctly pointed out that the firemaking cape doesn't have a whole lot of buffs on it other than lighting up dark places for you, and this makes it a little less valuable, so we are open to more things what you can do with a firemaking cape other than it spawning tinderboxes. Yeah, we're up for more things.
I think, in fairness, with the way most people get the fire making cape these days,
They can probably
That-
afford a tinderbox.
that's generally a handy thing in its own without having the cape.
Yeah.
So whether the cape necessarily needs anything is another question, but
We're also
answers on a
open to more.
postcard.
Absolutely. The answer to the straw poll, player on house, troll stronghold portal as a quest reward, yes, at 87%. Also go follow at Jagex Monroe, MUNRO. That question will be on the poll, will be polled later today, hopefully, if Ash has the time, and if not, maybe early tomorrow. Probably this afternoon, though, this evening, so look forward to that in the next couple of hours. I think that is everything show-offy wise, and I can start on the questions. Is everybody ready?
No.
Cool. Let's have the chat up, please, Mads. And the first question's from Foe, and the question is, timers for NPCs were synchronized many years ago to spawn at the same pace despite world numbers. Could the same be done with item spawns? Things like snakegrass, for example, spawn quicker on higher total level worlds.
I don't know if I'm not going to say if it's
Can it be done is
possible,
the first question.
But I like the sound of it being a thing.
It's as possible as all the other things were for the engine team. They did those for us. We can ask them to do this for us. I don't see them taking very long. On the other hand, it's still time that they normally have to prioritise mobile in.
Yeah.
Well, when did we change that one for the NPCs?
2013, probably 13.
It's pretty early, wasn't it? Yeah. So
Yeah, we were getting some stuff from the engine team even then. Philip was really quite obliging in what had to be his spare time in those days because he was expected to focus on getting the HTML5 version of RS3 out, and so he kind of did a few favours for us, like late at night.
Just want
That
to.
sounds dodgy.
There's a few people in the chat saying like, "Oh, Iron Man's meant to be harder, you're making it easier." And the point is that certain worlds that are more populated have faster respawn timers. So it's not that it's making it easier. It's just that the meta shouldn't be that you have to be on one particular world to get the fastest respawn rates, because that just doesn't sound like good gameplay. But nonetheless, I'm pretty sure that something like that would probably be looked at being polled. I'm not sure how I would approach it, but it's more just about like making it consistent more than anything, I guess. So
Honestly, I'd say that was kind of an integral thing to the game. Not gonna lie. To make it fair on every world.
I'd be happy polling this.
I don't think it would fail. I would stipulate that,
Yeah.
but I don't think it would necessarily be something that, if we didn't want to,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
just making it fairer.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, if one person has that particular spawn on that one world, they have the advantage over everyone else that no one else can achieve by any other means. So, yeah. Next question.
Oh, Ash, did you have something to say?
I was
Oh,
just thinking, worlds are getting more crowded these days.
Yes.
There's a lot more of you out there than there used to be. Thank you.
Oh yeah, thanks.
And we may get, with any luck, we could maybe get some more worlds in the foreseeable.
I mean, with Android in particular, Mod John C, of course, was it last week?
Last
Or the
week.
before? Last week, yeah. Announced just how many of you have already come in and actively play on mobile every single day, and we only really have Android out. Of course, iOS is beta. The sign-up's finished, but we'll be announcing. When will we be notifying those players?
Very soon. I know the date, but I know that I can't give the date just yet. But
Soon.
it's soon.
Keep an eye on your inbox centres, your message inbox centres. I presume that's where you will probably
Yes.
be.
We will be sending
contacted.
messages out to people.
But yes.
It'll be
Funny
very, very
secret
soon.
where they'll find out what date we give the email because they'll get an email.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on
But-
your message inbox centres.
There will be a post put out on the news, like the news homepage, so you'll see an official post that will give details in terms of like what to expect from the message and all that kind of stuff. So just wait for that to come out. That's when you'll know when the messages are going to be sent.
Cool. So summarising that answer, I guess we're saying, yes, we would like to poll that. It makes sense, consistently with the NPCs.
Yep.
Cool. Question 2 from admins. Can the Ranger's Tunic be able to be added to the player-owned house treasure chest? Which actually then led on to another discussion of there's quite a few items that are not on there that might be worth polling. Could we have like a big poll specifically for should this be in the chest, should this be in the chest, should this be in the chest, etc.?
People want to perhaps put a list together and work together and perhaps put a list up on Reddit or something like that, or any other place that we can access, then we can look at that, and
That's a good
I
idea.
don't see why we can't put it into the Live Ops team's backlog as something we do for the future.
Cool. If you want, I'm going to give you work on stream. This is scary. Do you want to maybe put a Reddit thread post up after the stream that people can post on, and we can direct them to it?
I was going to say, if you follow at JagXIuser and send him a tweet with the list of items, I'll make sure that message gets sent on.
Why are we selling out so hard this week? What's happened, guys? Come on.
We don't actually get paid more for this, do we?
No.
So, don't forget, Twitch Prime is still active.
Well, we definitely don't get paid for that. If it was, I'd be pushing that a lot harder.
For the record, the thread will already be open by the time we get off this.
That's
Q&A,
true. I'm
so-
sure that you guys will sort it out. But if not, we will direct you in an appropriate manner, probably on our @OldSchoolRS Twitter account. We'll probably direct you.
And anyone that does subscribe to the channel, our subscriptions go to charity.
That's true.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
You're about to go, oh, he's selling out
And I
again.
was like, oh, it's a charity, it's fine. You're allowed to sell over to charity, that's allowed. Okay, so yes, keep an eye out for some form of list. Do let us know, and we'll probably do a big poll all about those kind of things. Next question from Heisenberg. It is Bird, not Berg. Can Turoths have a superior version added to the game? It's the only one in the Fremennik Slayer dungeon that doesn't have one.
So they were intentionally not given one on the Superior Slayer release because we would have to make 3 of them because there's 3 different versions with 3 different combat levels.
Oh, you don't do a different one? I would just use the same one.
It all depends because if people are killing the smaller ones because they're a slightly lower combat level or whatever, then it's a bit difficult. I mean, if people do want that, I don't see why we can't do that. But we get some artists time to design 3 different style Turoths.
Fairly all else. If the player gets a whopping great big Turoth beast yomped in their face, and they really don't want it, they could maybe hot worlds into it or
Well,
something.
it doesn't actually
They're
affect
not
us.
aggressive.
So-
I was just thinking for the lower level people that do want to kill those, if you have a lower level version of the 3, it's nice for them to kill them too.
That's fair enough. Next question from Mozzie. Could the right-click recharge on the mummy before you recharge the scepter not have the lengthy dialogue beforehand and instantly jump to choosing the artifact type? I actually think that was me. I'm thinking back at it now. I actually think
I think
that
you
was
were the
me.
last person to touch that code.
Yeah,
Did you make the mummy verbose?
Well, it has like 3 chat boxes
Does he have
before you
chat
get
boxes?
through. Yeah, 3 chat
Pop that in the
boxes.
trivials. I'll do that next week.
Yeah, I was going to say, because we reduced the chat for actually entering the pyramid as well, and that was from one of the it was like the
Yeah.
minigame / other thing, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We added that change, so.
It's funny, I found when I was looking into making friends with my arm, the quest, I ran into some of the dialogue on Larry, Larry, the guy from Cold War, where you're going back and forth to the iceberg with him, and his right-click travel option made you say, "Have you still got that book? Why is that in the travel option?" I really don't know why that was put there. I mean, I didn't really have much of a mandate to go messing with it, but I made sure that for our new stuff, left-clicking on the boat or right-clicking on the boat to go to the other location, it just travels. I'm pretty sure I didn't leave the book option in there.
Spoilers of the quest! You're telling them what happens in the quest.
Well,
You speak to a
Cold
guy
War
called
is
Larry.
required as one of the prerequisites. It's not a huge leap to imagine that we might be using Larry. Especially as when they get to the quest, they'll be told, go and talk to Larry.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
it's quite.
It's pretty quick in. It's fine. It's fine.
And you've done this quest more than most of us.
I've done this quest a lot. I've been making friends with my arm a lot. So yes, we'll pop it in the trivial. We can do that next week. I'll do that. Arkham asks, any updates on the reward for 100 master clues? It was in the dev blog a few months ago, but never made it to a poll. Any updates?
I'm going to blame Sween for that one, because he was going to look up going back and finding out what was going to happen with it.
And also he's not here.
Yeah, he's also not here. He's on holiday, and now he's left community management. So,
It's not bitter or anything.
yeah, no, there is no, at the moment there's no update on it because I don't know where it was left, but I shall check. I believe it was a case of we were trying to find all of the old designs that were submitted before, but it's likely that we're just going to reopen the competition for new designs,
Oh, that's cool.
and then that's probably what we'll end up doing. So,
Well, it could be a fun one for Sween's replacement.
yeah, want to do your first competition, Montgomery?
Yeah, take that on, sure.
There you go.
Why not?
Cool.
Sorted. And now you've got somebody to blame. It doesn't come out again next time. This comes on the Q&A. Is that okay? That's good. There we go. Oh, that's exciting. Oh, we're 6 questions in, and we've just provided 3 different types of workload already. This one's great. Clue asks, can the red colour be changed from the Dragon Hunter crossbow? It looks very similar to the Dragon crossbow. The rest of the comments then started to sing paint it black, which I thought was quite humorous. But yes, can we change it to look a little bit different than the Dragon crossbow?
Can we change it to the colour of the dragon you last killed?
Although we could,
It could sell under red.
although we could, let's not do that.
Purple Dragon confirmed.
Oh, there is a purple dragon. The one that you respawn and reanimate.
Oh, that thing.
That is a purple dragon.
I suppose.
I see a red sky and
Yeah, I think we should change the colour. It is pretty much almost the same thing.
very
Yeah,
similar.
it is a bit confusing.
Cool.
We would
yeah,
poll that first, though.
absolutely. I imagine that Mod West may have a couple of ideas as well, and you probably want to tweet out a couple of iterations that you guys can look over on Twitter.
Full of
Jagex
creating work
West.
for people today.
Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry. We're gonna have to go back.
I think we can let you put all the jobs in the system.
I will. I'll have to. I'm sorry.
So you're selling out again, was it?
For Mod West.
Oh, okay.
So keep an eye on him. But yeah, cool. Yeah, summarising, we'd like to change it. It does look very similar. Bob asks, we're discouraged from wearing the Bruma Torch at Wintertodt as the Dragon Axe takes up a spot in our inventory alongside a tinderbox. Could the Bruma Torch act as a tinderbox throughout the fight for Wintertodt only?
Interestingly,
If it's
that's
only for Wintertodt,
That would be a bit easier, I imagine.
that's a lot easier to code than to replace it everywhere that uses a tinderbox.
I'm just aware that we're people have said, oh, you only need to do it in this one place. This is all we care about. That probably is all they care about, but they're not
Until they
necessarily
find
going to be
something
there
else.
to explain it to the rest of the players who wonder why it's inconsistent and find that quite annoying.
Yeah, that was generally where I was looking at afterwards. It was, we can.
I think it's
It opens up a
actually-
humongous can of worms.
Yeah, there's a job in the backlog currently that states investigating making the Bruma torch like a bit like cooler, I guess, or better. So that it's,
Cooler.
So that it can act as an offhand and also light the brazier. There's like two things in one. We haven't put it through yet
And-
because we haven't actually fully considered like what implications that might mean, but it is
Offhand
there.
would be a lot simpler.
We actually, the reason, a fun fact why that one's
I think-
Z-code, it's in the main hand because it actually has an animation. If it's in the offhand, it would be a static flame. In case you were ever wondering why it's in the main hand.
Can we get that animation for the offhand?
You can't animate offhand, which is why it's in the main hand.
Oh,
There you
Yeah.
go. Today you learned.
Me too. So there's one of the implications that we needed to consider, we've now considered.
Okay, so people are saying the Mind Shield and Elemental Shield. I'm going to explain how that works, okay? You equip it, it delays your player temporarily, or used to, it doesn't anymore. It plays a spot anim, which is an anim that's played like regardless of the player per se. We can play the spot anim, and then it adds the shield in your slot. So kind of that's why it jitters, because technically it's adding it to your slot and updating your character after it's played the animation. It doesn't actually have an animation. That's how we get around that one. It's kind of a unique one, to say the least. But yes, we can't animate offhands. The chat is asking, by the looks of it, but it makes sense, and I just want to clarify these guys' answers for you. It's not so much that we don't think it doesn't make sense, but rather we also know that once we do it with that, you guys might also want it to light logs, which would require a rewrite of the way that we light logs.
ships, quest locations.
It would need a new right click on it and stuff. It's like why
Anything
we
use
don't.
a tinderbox.
When people are like, can this item be used to fletch? And we say we can't because all fletching currently says, have you got a knife, have you got a knife, have you got a knife, have you got a knife? We'd have to update that to say, have you got an item that classes as a knife, and then update all those.
Well, of course, we can trawl through all the code in the game that refers to knives and make it accept this thing as well. And I think I did something of the sort in RS3 when they got new types of golden hammer from a joystick.
Yes.
Promo.
I think that was the first ever time that happened.
Yeah, I trawled through the whole repository, updating everything that referred to hammers. Took a while. Took even longer for the testers. And it's questionable whether the benefit of players having this alternate form of hammer was worth it for the amount of stuff that we could have done instead of spending the time on that thing. Like just how much the rest of the game benefited from. Well, I'm probably a bit sore about that blinking joystick, to be honest, because I didn't actually want to spend my weekend doing that.
But we won. 2009, I think.
Yes, and RS3 got a shiny joystick in the game that they can hammer with, I think.
Yes. So
toss up and down.
I'll summarise that question by saying we will happily do it. We do agree it's a good idea, but it would be with the caveat that it would only work at Wintertodd and nowhere else. Like it wouldn't work to light your logs. And if you guys are fine with that, then we're probably fine adding it too. But we're putting that out on the table so you're aware. That would be the reason.
I'd be sure to make sure that I was sure.
Well, we
if
can put
I
it on.
surely polled it. That
We can put it on the poll question that this.
yeah, it would be polled
it
so
would
that it would
never
only
get
ever
used
work
elsewhere.
at the brazier and never to be able to use it anywhere else, and we'll lock you in, and you can't get out of it.
75% if you voted for it to be inconsistent.
Exactly.
Cool. Right. Let's move on. Pathogen asks, when will berry patch... Oh, this is a good question. This is timely. When will berry patches and limpet patches get the cactus treatment of multiple harvests based on farming level?
Tomorrow.
Oh, we looked at you there. We were giving you
Here's your
Trying to
opportunity.
say it. Right.
I like her answer.
tomorrow. That's coming out tomorrow. So panic sell. Actually, no, don't panic sell limpet roots. I'm not going to say anything.
Well, they already know because it said on the poll question.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Remember that poll does come with a caveat that although you'll get more now from your farming patch, the creatures that drop them in large quantities, like Kurasks, will instead
I
drop
can
limpet
tell them the
seeds.
exact changes if they want them.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Spectres in the Catacombs currently drop 3 plus random 7, which has now been converted that it will drop 3 plus random 7 seeds. Kurasks have been changed, so instead of dropping 20 noted, they will now only drop 1 single seed.
Rip.
The Chaos Druid Warriors. I didn't even know they existed until today, to be honest. Instead of dropping a limp, will now drop 1. And the same with I think the last one is the Necreals.
Yep.
Have been changed from 1 limp to 1 seed.
So all those droppers of limpet roots that are used to getting noted will now be coming into the game via farming, and that will scale based on your level. So you do get a lot. Of course, you've seen the effect of the cactus spine. Of course, that has dropped in price because more are coming in game. But this one, actually, you might see an adverse effect. Hopefully, it should stay around the same, but it might go up a little bit.
The reason we wanted to do that is because obviously when we released Obor and we did the changes to Karasks, essentially what was one of the best free-to-play moneymakers at the time then became really bad. I think they were like 1.2k and dropped to like 300 very quickly.
Karasks were Karasking for it.
Yeah, so panic buy Twitch Prime.
Moving on.
It's not only that, but as well, one of the most common things that happens all the time is everyone's like, we don't want resources to be from PVM. They should come from the places that they're from. Okay, cool. So PVM drops seeds, and you can turn seeds into roots by farming with the farming skill. And there you go. Easy.
Good.
Yep. So
Tomorrow. I asked Bob's question, sorry. King asked, with 14 bottles in Portal Room, this is the question that we answered earlier.
Yep.
Number 10. Ace asks, can the gem, coal and herb bags be changed to work similar to how the new looting bag mechanic works, where when they're open, they're automatically added to those bags when you pick them up? So they also mentioned Motherlode Mine and Herbivore would have a similar effect.
Didn't we make changes to a lot of those like already, where they automatically?
We made
go
it
in?
so that it searches for the stuff in your inventory instead of you using it now. You can left-click it, I think.
Yeah, to fill.
But I think he's asking for similar to the looting bag. You open it,
Yeah.
and then if you pick up a gem, so you still have to. It doesn't automatically.
Yeah,
go
no,
in
I
the
get that. I
vault,
was saying, but we've already added like functionality so that you can just instantly
yeah.
fill with a left click.
It's just a left click and it takes everything, all the herbs.
And plus as well, like the looting bag is a bit of a rare case because it's only within the wilderness, right? So these get used everywhere.
Yeah. What do you guys thought?
So I wouldn't, just because it's like it says bag and like it's a bag that contains things, I don't think that we need to have it have similar functionality to other bags.
You agree?
I also think
Personally.
at Herbivore, where it puts the herbs in your inventory, you might want to drop some of them because they're not the ones you want before, and you don't want them to go straight into your bag.
There'll be a time where it would be more annoying than useful.
Yeah.
I actually think it's really strong. It's something like Herbivore, like surprisingly strong. It's already a pretty strong piece of content.
Well, yeah, you'd take more staminas and not have to worry as much about invent space.
Less clicking.
Yeah.
Until you're full of Guams.
But I am interested in the chat because that was actually quite a mixed one. So do you want to poll that one, Maz? Do you want to straw poll it and ask if functionality of coal, gem, and herb bags can be updated to work similar to the looting bag? Let's see what their response is on that. As I move on to the next question from Rills, which is, can the Theatre of Blood have a reclaim chest if you disconnect?
So, if any of your party's still in the instance, if you disconnect, you should reconnect inside it and help yourself to your stuff. If we tried to make it so that you decided to leave the instance or you didn't get back into the instance, and the loot detects this and tries to follow you all the way out to your bank, I think we'd have a bit more trouble getting the message reliably about what it was. And we'd prefer not to introduce a way that you can get a unique item without anyone in your party knowing whether it was an Avernic hilt or something a bit more fancy. So, given that we have got you reconnecting back into the instance, as long as your party's not actually all abandoned it already, I'd hope that if you've managed to play through the content of the Theatre of Blood, you're not on such an unstable connection that's going in and out every few seconds, that you will successfully walk down the steps and open the chest and get the thing out.
Yeah. Anybody else got opinions on that?
No.
Nope. All agree? Cool. The response to the straw poll is in. Would you like the functionality of coal, herb, and gem bags to be upgraded similar to the looting bag? 37% of you said no, with 63% saying yes. That's actually a really low number, considering, and I think that shows just how split it is, at least in the chat. Of course, the chat doesn't speak for everyone, but it's usually a good representation of a larger percentage of the game. But cool. Okay. Awesome. To summarise the Theatre of Blood question, I guess it's possible, but there is a chance that it would potentially make more issues or allow scamming to occur. And considering you can already rejoin your party and you've gotten past Verzik, it's quite unlikely that your internet's ever going to be that bad. And it's quite rare, that scenario of disconnecting at that point compared to people wanting to scam their teammates.
I think it's happened twice, because I believe Lottie has confirmed on tried to like dispel myths of people being scammers, and actually there's like no, it was never claimed by them. So I think it does happen. I don't know if there's anything
Since
that we
then
can.
we did change it so that if they logged back in, they would be back in the instance rather than outside it.
So there we
the
go
problem
then.
was that if anyone had left, a player logging back in would try to reconnect to the new party, which is outside, rather than the old party, which is inside.
Which is inside. Okay.
So we changed that, and the people who were having that problem will find it just doesn't work the same way anymore.
Perfect. So that was the only concern that I was going to have, and it would have been solved. So cool.
Cool, fantastic. Question from Superfire. That's such a bad name. Can the deranged archaeologist, it's like Superfire, the deranged archaeologists in Fossil Island have a chance of a unique drop of an eternal dig site pendant? Now, we've had requests for eternal dig site pendants before, but I actually quite like that he suggested it from the deranged archaeologist, as that would actually give him a partial use on the island other than a slightly weaker version of the one in the wilderness, really.
Does that mean it would be something that forces people to do a boss that they really don't want to do?
I presume it would be tradable, similar to all other.
I mean, does it really force you?
It depends if you're making the gem or the jewellery. Because like with Slayer, the gem is tradable, the jewellery isn't.
It's true, yeah.
But then does it really force you to do it as well? Because you could, again, it doesn't force
You could just make,
make more
dig site pendants, as you currently do.
No, I completely agree. I think it's like a rather unnecessary thing, to be honest.
Cool. Anybody else? Thoughts?
I'm just generally not a fan of infinite jewellery and that kind of stuff, but I can understand the need for it, and I know that some people get frustrated with having to create them, especially because you do it like one by one when you start enchanting them. But
I think that might be in our backlog too.
It would be one of those things that it's down to. You don't want to hear my opinion on it. I want to hear your opinion on it, basically.
I'm more keen on the ideas if you have to use the jewellery to charge this unlimited version first. So as in, essentially, so you can put in 1,000 pieces of jewellery into it, like bring recoils in and stuff.
I really like that.
I prefer those because it at least still requires you to sync the item.
Yes.
But just to give an eternal one,
I agree.
You're the man.
Cool. Good job. Man of the people. Lots of chat questions. Oh, I have loads of chat questions. If you have any questions at Old School RS, Modmaz is gathering them. So I'm going to actually jump on to the chat questions because we have 20 minutes left and I haven't answered any of them yet. So let's go on to that. So, I can't answer that question. That's that one. That was really rude, Maz, the first one. No.
I want to know what it is.
It's I'm going to ask. It's not that bad. Urbib asks, why does Aiz's hair look like it's sliding off his head? There you go. Zuids asks,
I'll answer the question.
Go on.
I've had a lot of late nights recently, and to be totally honest
That's
with you,
true.
I just could not be bothered to do my hair properly. Plus, as well, as you can probably notice, my forehead grows in size each week. That's just natural. It's okay to not have a full head of hair your entire life. I'm okay with it. You need to be okay with it too. And that's basically it.
That's not a 4-head chat. It's probably a 5-head.
I think it's more like a 6 or a 7 head. But if you don't embrace it, then that's basically it.
Charlovato asks, will Korask now be dropping whiteberry seeds instead of whiteberries? Or is it just affecting inputs?
At the moment, it's just affecting inputs. We will monitor the update after it goes out, like we do normally with all these things, and then work with Modlotti in order to get the information to see if we need to make any changes.
So see what happens to the price and the amount coming in game versus leaving, and then.
So the whiteberries will still come in at the same rate, because we haven't removed the drop. We've merely changed it to something else.
Oh, limpworts.
Oh, limpworts. Sorry.
That's what you mean?
Wow.
You said
whiteberries.
they're asking if whiteberries work like limpworts, but then you just said whiteberries will come in at the same rate of the game. But at the moment,
they
go
will.
up because you're getting more from the farming patch, but they're not being taken out of the
I
game.
meant from Kurasks.
Yes. Okay. We've just confused the chat.
Just confused each other as well.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Question mark if you understood.
Type question mark if you understood.
We will be investigating it to see if it is necessary to do so.
That's a good summary.
Apparently they all understood.
Then there's also all the whiteberry spawns at lava dragons and stuff as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. You can pick whiteberries up off the floor. at various places. So.
Algrando asks, what's any update on the Wise Old Man interface?
I believe we answered that last week as well, and it's came back from code review, and it's sitting in my backlog, ready to be done. Basically, once the My Arm quest has been finished, and we're happy with it.
Cool. So sometime next month. It's not far off.
We hope.
Sorry, I've had him kind of busy doing reward stuff for me.
Turbo Paulie asks, it has been spoken about many times over the last few Q&As. When will we see the sandstorm spell pulled or added to the game? I tried all week. I didn't put a sandstorm or a bucket question throughout the entirety of this, and I tried not to put another one in, but Maz snuck one in the chat questions.
For some reason, my quest area gives out buckets. I don't know why.
It does actually. That's kind of funny.
I imagine it's going to be in the next quality of life poll that we do. When that's going to be, I reckon it will be within the next 3 to 4 weeks, the next poll, I'd imagine. We've got a few things going on at the moment. Obviously, a lot of things heating up with mobile, soft launch coming out, the Troll quest coming out. There's Deadman coming up as well. Once that's all cleared and settled, we'll get around to doing the next poll. Plus as well, there's still a few things that we need to finish off from the last one. But yeah, I'd imagine that in the next 3 to 4 weeks or so, we'll have another one with a whole host of questions for you to vote on, including potentially Sandstorm.
The player, I think it's Matt in the chat, asks to what extent this spell is quality of life. That can mean many, many things, to be honest, but I think there's a lot of people would like a lot of buckets and sand.
Yeah, it's also an interesting
Call it
one.
what you
We always say this like with quality of life. I kind of take the term quality of life and small content changes, because that kind of covers pretty much everything that we try to do. But then a small content change could have a large impact on the game. So it's difficult to categorise, but...
It ain't big, but whatever label wants to put on the thing, you'll be getting to say yes or no, do you want it?
Yeah. It's a poll with some questions, with some changes and some additions, and you can vote on
Enough
it.
said.
Oh, now that is going to be a picture on Reddit. Like, oh, can somebody like Photoshop a cat?
What, Thug Life?
Yeah, I love it. Oh, that's going to be. I'll tell Ronan to edit in the weekly Q&A roundup, where he'll like put the the grey overlay on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be brilliant. Cool. Right. iBoons asked suggestion to make RC a little less monotonous. This got a lot of upvotes on Reddit, which is why I'm asking it for the record.
I think I know what this is.
Yeah, I know what this is as well.
Yeah. So I'm preparing you.
Screaming on the inside.
Can you have a chance of receiving a cracked rune based on the amount of essence crafted every 1 in 10 runs or so? You would take this back to Wizard Crumpty and solve a broken puzzle and be given XP scaled to your level and are doing an achievement diary progress to break up the monotony of running runes. I think I know what the answer's going to be to this.
This wasn't what I expected. This wasn't the question I expected when you heard
I was expecting the...
Oh, that's no, that's coming soon.
Oh.
Okay. Well, that's the next question, but we'll talk about this one first.
If you want to break up the monotonous of runecrafting, go to the Archaeus house in the library. You can get runecrafting XP there.
To train runecrafting, read books.
Knowledge is power.
Tears of Gothics.
Interestingly though, right, it's like there seems to be, if it's got a lot of upvotes, there's a demand for alternative runecrafting training methods. Now, I'm not saying that there should be any, but it's interesting to like, at what point do people find that they no longer enjoy runecrafting? Have they gone and tried all the different methods? Because there are different altars that you can use that have different kind of options for you. For example, the Orani altar, as soon as you've unlocked the teleport back to Lunar Isle, that actually becomes quite enjoyable to do. It's not your typical kind of run. There's a lot of people there. There's NPCs that you can interact with and that kind of stuff. There's Zaya.
There's NPCs that interact with you.
Yeah, that they interact with you. There's obviously Zaya runecrafting. So there's a lot of variety, I think, at the moment with runecrafting now compared to how it was before. I think the early level runecrafting is a bit of a bore, but you get through that very quickly because you get a lot of XP very fast. So. You don't get a lot of XP very fast, but you get to the point where you can do something different quickly. So I don't know.
Early levels, you do a lot of your runecrafting through quests, which gets you to almost level 60 without doing any runecrafting.
And then at that
you lamp it.
Then at that point you do your achievement diaries, and then at that point you do Tears of Gothics for about 200 weeks, and you might be something like level 76.
People like 1 to 77, like 1 to 77 needs something. You literally just do Orani Altar till 77 if you really want. It's just, I find it so chill. And then you just go and do the others. I think it's like Astrals then, right? 77.
Yeah, Astrals aren't really.
77 is blood
It's
race.
for the 77 is for the dark.
77 is when you can finally go,
finish.
just relax and go to Zaya.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those things. It was like saying, oh, that's changed the way that woodcutting is, because woodcutting's just sit there and click on a tree, and we want something.
In the grand
then
scheme
you've
of
got
things,
sense, but
if you unlock the Zaya Runecrafting at 77, the percentage of XP between 1 and 99 that's from 77 onwards is huge. And that's no doubt the easiest method to do it.
Maz might remember this. Was Taiwo Wano Village, the clean-up thing with the machetes, intended as a sort of wood-cutting training thing?
Sort of, yes. A bit like Fossil Island, bringing multiple skills together.
Yeah, although I don't think it is one. Yeah.
Right. So summary, anybody?
There are other options currently available, but if someone can come up with a nice suggestion,
That everybody would like.
then we can think about it.
Cool. Next question coming from, this is the one that you were probably thinking of. This one came from a few people. Can you discuss the use of ZMI crafters now using runners to obtain the fastest XP? Faster, in fact, than what was polled is the exact quote.
If you want to go by that logic, then every single rune altar that exists would also be over XP rate. Law running was a huge thing in the, back in 04, 05, and for many years. As it stands, don't have a problem with runners at all.
Nope.
If you're willing to have people run, or if those people are even going to charge for that service, that's fair enough too. But as it stands, it would be really incredibly weird for us to stop Essence running for one option and not all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, that in itself is extremely weird for the fact that in the early game, the main part of runecrafting was. Like, I used to run laws all the time just because it was decent money and there was people that wanted to train their runecrafting.
They used to do the same with natures back in the day, and maybe ZMR will be the new thing, but I'm with you on that one, is that I don't see it as something that we should have to change, because if you do, then every altar should be unrunnable.
I went and named an RS3 NPC after Lariar, who used to run a fairly major runecrafting
I remember
faction.
that.
Yeah, well, once they got a runecrafting guild and the skill cape was put in it, I stuck it on an NPC called Lariar there. Not spelt the same.
You know, there's some really cute. I don't actually want to digress the conversation too much, but there's quite a few cute things like that that are in game. I remember when you did the. Do you remember the gnome gliders? You've told us about this one before. And the gnome gliders, they used to be a way so that free-to-play could fly around members' areas and have a look at them, but not actually interact. They had like fake NPCs.
Gnome copters.
Gnome copters. What did I say? Gnome.
You meant gnome
I said gliders. I meant gnome copters. They'd fly around, and there'd be like fake NPCs that were tending to be players, showing how the activities were.
I did write that.
And Ash did that. And you have a cool fact. If you don't mind saying, do you know like some of the names inside of it? The player names?
There were quite a few. Well, each scenario you could fly over or fly into had the fake player names taken from a different source. In the Berthold Games Room, for example, they were all named after types of tea, like lapsang and souchong and oolong and with milk. In another place, I think the fake pest control one, they were named after the Tippett admin crew, but in disguised form, like instead of Silver Iron, it was written as AG+, because that's a silver ion.
How cool is that?
Well, one of them actually did ask me about it at RuneFest, and I was quite touched anyone had noticed. In another place, I've been trying to get in the name Diaper Drip, but the management asked me to take it out and name it something else.
We have some interesting dialogue in the Troll Quest, that's for sure. It doesn't have Diaper Drip.
No, it doesn't have Diaper Drip. It's not all dirty jokes made out of troll names.
There is a lot of that.
There is some of that. It's about a troll called My Arm. It's kind of inevitable.
Cool. So summarise thoughts on ZMI crafting.
Not
We're happy with how it works.
And nothing to do at this time.
Cool. Awesome. Martin asks, can the Elite Clue Scroll drop be looked at for the Theatre of Blood? Currently, it's almost as rare as getting a pet, and compared to the Chambers of Xeric, this is very low.
What's Chambers of Xeric now? It's 1 in 100 now? Did we change that? Or did we make it even...
More common.
1
It might be more
65?
common. I know we made it a lot more common post-release, but that was more based around how long it took.
It is rare in the Theatre of Blood. I would not be sorry to see it changed. It should still scale as it does based on how the party did in there, but I think at the moment it might be scaling more than it needs to.
Yeah. I think 1 in 12 is the number that the chat's saying for Raids 1, and of course I think actually it's like 1 in 600 in Theatre of Blood, which is probably a little excessive, but even still, I
Really?
wouldn't...
It's not, is it?
It's pretty common. 1 in 600? 1 in 7?
7 and 600 are very different numbers. What are we
that's
talking
a
about
big
here?
jump.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, but
Am I thinking about like Maul or something stupid?
I have no idea, but we can look at making it more common.
Do you know what he's talking about?
I have no
No,
idea.
he's on his own. Next question.
I don't know.
Moving on.
Remember. I didn't work on it.
Apparently so. I don't know.
Bitter Bitter asks, why have you decided to remove the Verax Flail from the Dead Man tournament?
Because then that stops the Dead Man tournament finale being everyone in Verax and range going, oh look, this is a boring fight, the next fight you go to. Oh look, this is exactly the same fight. And the fact that the special effect of the full set in that instance is just...
I think it's essentially, like the whole point about Dead Man now is introducing changes that bring out new metas. Varrock was the meta for the last 2 tournaments. I don't think it would be very enjoyable or exciting to see that happen again. I think it's time to think of some new strategies and not depend on full Varrocs to get you through to victory. We've obviously got the new Ancient Warriors equipment that's going to be coming in, so a lot of weapons there. And yeah, it's just a way of us like making it fresh again, bringing in different styles, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, if you don't change it up, you're going to get the same thing every time, which is why and I think I know what question Mudwolf's going to ask immediately after this.
Yes, the next question, I also gave a bit of it actually, was why have the PvP armors be added to the final without being in the season first, I guess. You
So
can carry that on.
the reason that we've added the weapons into the final is to mix it up a bit. Again, they're more KO weapons that people would be more likely to use in terms of regular combat, other than just perhaps hoping they get lucky with D-claws or a god sword or something like that. And yeah, again, just to completely mix it up a bit, we've left the armors out till the season because we felt with the weapon and the armors it was perhaps a bit much or straight off the bat, especially with the armors essentially being what they were.
Yeah, especially if someone wasn't to get the weapons and you had the finals of people just full out in PvP armor and being just huge tanks that you just can't damage without
You'll
those
essentially
weapons.
see people trying to get as much of the armor as possible, and then it turns even more into a I'm just going to sit here and play defensive instead.
Yeah, we just want to, like, you know, help. What's the word I'm looking for? Promote. There we go. Bit of change, and for people to just mix things up a little bit. And the weapons, I was actually quite surprised that they went into the tournament because typically they go season to tournament. But I actually think it's going to be quite good for this tournament, especially mostly because there weren't a huge amount of changes from the last tournament prior. So it's nice to have something fresh for people to go into and not have experienced before, similar to with a lot of the quest unlocks. It's meant that there is a whole new strategy going into this tournament now that we'll be able to have the opportunity to talk about. Players will be able to share and shout about and make new content about as well. So it's just about keeping the whole game mode fresh and exciting.
Yeah, it is very much. I think the people that are going, why are you adding this in? Why are you adding this in now, and not waiting for the season, will probably be the same people that turn around and go, well, that Dead Man finale was boring. So it's kind of we really just want to throw a curveball, and that's what we think we're doing.
Yeah. Fair answer. Awesome. Spine Wielder actually followed on from that question and asked, can they be tested in tournament worlds before being added to the finals so other players can try them out?
So as it currently stands, the weapons and armors have not finished QA, so they are not in their final form.
Not even my final form.
So yeah, we're currently not looking to do that at the moment, but that's not to say we can't look at it, or even perhaps after the Dead Man season we can look at spinning up the tournament worlds. So anyone that didn't get them in the season or finale can have a tryout, see what they're like, and just have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, but don't forget they'll be in the season straight after the tournament ends. So that's on. Hold on, when's the date? The 15th?
15th.
Yeah, 15th of September when the season goes live.
they'll also be in there. That's both armors and weapons. So if you want to have a chance to try it out, playing Deadman will help you get that. And then, yeah, in the future, we might add them to the tournament worlds. We'll have the ability to. They'll technically be developed. Pretty much it, but they're not going to be done beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, we did put up a updated dev blog this morning.
Yeah, so
with
I
a
put
few
one out
extra
yesterday,
tweaks.
and I accidentally forgot like the
So,
requirements and stats.
Yeah,
so.
if you do have feedback, go have a look, and then send messages to like myself and Aiza. I'm not going to say us out because I've already done it enough this stream.
Thank you.
But yeah, we're very happy to discuss feedback with regarding the changes to Deadman. So if you have any, then send them our way.
Awesome. Next question from Andy asks, can you add a toggle to the Infernal Tool's consumption of resources?
Yes.
Should we just end ominously like that? Like,
Yeah.
yes?
Yes.
Sure.
Sure.
Cool. Shelby asks, will the collection interface oh, this is a good one actually. You may have there's a couple of questions on this, so get ready. Okay. Will the collection interface calculate all items currently obtained or only start calculating once it's in game, including pets, insurance, and additional drops like additional pets, as well as drops from that point onwards? Like,
So-
can you explain a little bit what's going to be calculated beforehand?
Modlenny's going to probably kill me because I'm probably going to say something wrong according to his design, but let's have a go. So it will start collecting from once it reaches once it comes in game. Yep. Things like pets and untradables, I think,
that's true.
That you still own.
that you still own,
Like
correct? That
You have to own them.
you have to have them in your bank or any of the inventories.
POH.
Will be put into the collection log. Anything that is tradable will not be, and that is exactly the same for Iron Man as well.
Yep. So everyone starts off from.
Everyone starts off at the same level, and there will be concern over Iron Man doing like, oh, I've already got them, which is fair enough. You spent the time to do that, but in the interest of fairness, and there's nothing stopping. There wouldn't be anything stopping someone from going, oh, I've got all the items now. I'm going to de-iron, and then their interface has still got everything in it, so they then become the first regular player to have got every drop, and things like that. So.
One of the things to like make sure there's clarity on is that the collection log gets updated when you get this item as a drop, or if you obtain it from like completing a certain thing. So if you were to just go and buy an Armored God Sword from the Grand Exchange, I don't believe that would update your collection log.
No, it wouldn't.
Because
Of course not.
Really, really bad.
You technically wouldn't have actually gained it. So that's why Iron Man and normal accounts will be on the same level field from day one.
I think Modrock explained it the best that it could be, which is if we said, okay, Iron Man, we'll count your items because you can't trade, people can de-iron,
There's
right? And we don't want that to count.
Exactly.
I also
They
want
would
to add the caveat is that Iron Man has changed throughout the few years, where the fact that we changed that people could tank for bosses and things like that, and we can't tell whether you got them when someone was helping you or when we stopped that ability to do so as well. So in the interest of fairness, having everyone on the same level playing field at the point that it comes out.
There is no such thing as a permanent Iron Man mode as well. For the chat, I believe you can actually ask it to be removed from customer support. Even if you select permanent Iron Man, you can request for customer support for it to be removed. So no, not even permanent Iron Men will have it count towards their drop log as well. That's it for fairness, so that somebody doesn't.
Just to clarify as well, the poll did quite clearly state that nothing would be logged until it was added, and we've found a way to obviously add untradables and pets if you still own them, but we are sticking true to the poll in the sense that nothing will be added other than those things.
Cool. I'm going to go ahead and say that's the end of the stream. I went through all those questions. So thank you very much for sending those in. Of course, at the beginning, we announced the release date of the new Troll Quest Making Friends with My Arm, which is the
6th of September.
2018.
In the morning.
We showed a couple of teasers. Teasers off at the start if you guys want to go back and watch those. But other than that, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching and have a wonderful week. Look forward to tomorrow's update.